All right, good morning again. Welcome to DuePoint. Welcome to everyone around the country who's tuned into our live stream. My name's Rob van der Bijl. I'm one of the executives here at DuePoint, and I'm going to be spending the next 60 minutes with you guys going through what DuePoint's all about and the opportunity that's on offer. Let's wait for these last few people to grab a seat, and we'll get started. Okay, so you're at DuePoint's head office. We're actually a division of another company called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. That's their building in the background, their little orange logo. You might recognize it if you've ever bothered to go into your terms and conditions on a life policy, because a lot of life policies are underwritten by a company like Constantia. They were founded in 1952, so they've been around for a very long time, nearly 70 years, a lot longer than I've been around for. A very reputable business. Played a very important role in developing the insurance industry in South Africa. The FSP number that we operate under is that one that you see over there. And you'll notice in the foyer above the water cooler, we've got all these certificates on display. Those are FSP licenses. Go take a look at those. We've got a long and short-term insurance license. We've got an investment license, and we've got our FSP license. We also got our accreditation with the direct marketing and the direct selling associations. It's very important that you start building credibility, or at least we start building credibility with you. You start building trust in us, because if we're proposing any partnership, that's obviously a fundamental step, is that you actually trust the business that you're going to be partnering with. The individuals involved here, at least the executives and the senior managers here at DuePoint, are these characters you see on the screen. The first three people on the far left here, all registered chartered accountants, starting with Brendan. He's our senior executive. He leads DuePoint. He's got a lot of experience in financial services, particularly in insurance, because his family have been entrenched in insurance his entire life. His father's a professor of insurance who taught at Wits for 25 years. His dad actually founded Clientele Life, and then Brendan and his brother Stuart followed in their father's footsteps, a family full of accountants, and they went on to found Prime Meridian Direct, or PMD, which is a short-term insurer based just down the road from us, very successful. I think they're the fourth biggest short-term insurer in the country already after a decade of running. Tim Reynolds, he's been involved in corporate banking most of his life. He worked with with the First Rand Group, where he reported directly to the board of executives there. I think a fairly cushy corporate job that he had. But he heads up our auditing, our regulatory aspects here at DuePoint. Stacey supports him in that role. Stacey's here with us this morning. You'll see her in the foyer. She supports him in the auditing and the accounting aspects. She's got a lot of experience in auditing. She's been working with Deloitte all her working career, locally as well as abroad in Europe. And she came back to South Africa recently and joined the team here at DuePoint. And then the two good-looking, interesting people who are not accountants, Jane and myself. Jane has got a lot of experience in direct marketing and direct selling, because even though we're an insurance business, oh my goodness. Sorry guys, there's no sound. It looks like there's sound. There's probably one person in Pofadder who's phoning in saying he doesn't have sound on his computer. Okay, we've got sound on my side, so I don't know what to do. So even though we're an insurance company, our growth is fundamentally based around our marketing, and the marketing that we employ is referral network marketing, and Jane brings a lot of that experience to the table. She comes from York in England, so if you speak to her, you'll notice she's got a Yorkshire accent. It's not a speech impediment that she has. Even though she's been here for 10 years, you'd think she'd lose the accent. And then myself, I've been working in marketing and advertising most of my working career. In the mid-90s, I started a digital agency. I ran that for almost 20 years, fairly successfully. It paid the bills, but I exited that business, and I'll touch on why I exited that business. So these are the people that you're going to be dealing with. We don't hide in our offices. We're very much involved with the people that join our business. Our mandate is to support the wealth engineers that join this business. So what that means is that everything that we do as staff here at DuePoint is to support you, so that you are as effective and as successful as possible in this endeavor, because as a business, we can only be profitable if you're being successful. So it's in our interest to support you and see you being effective in this business opportunity we're going to be speaking about. And again, that's very fundamental when you're looking at a partnership. You want to know that the people you're partnering with are going to collaborate with you, that you both have this common goal that you're working towards. Okay. All right, so why are we here this beautiful Saturday morning? I'm sure the weather's better in other parts of the country, maybe not Cape Town. But what brings you here? What did the person tell you that invited you to this place called DuePoint for a presentation? Maybe they only told you there was free tea and coffee and you decided to go. If things are that bad at home, you're in a good place to be. You can't afford your own tea and coffee. But the premise was probably financial opportunity, right? The person that invited you might have bluntly said to you, do you want to make more money? And your answer was yes, unless they're friends or family and you twisted their arm and forced them to come here. But nonetheless, we look at some of the driving behavior, why people would be interested in this entrepreneurial opportunity, because there are way better things to do on a Saturday morning than come to a business presentation, right? You could be at home, you could still be in bed, you could be having tea and coffee. There might still be people tuned into the live stream, still in bed, drinking tea and coffee at home. But we find ourselves here, and that's because of a number of factors. It would be great if employment was the answer to all our issues, right? If your salary job, the income that you got at the end of every month was enough for everything. But it isn't, because we get a lot of statistics from the FSB that shows us what personal finance looks like for the average South African. And it's not a pretty picture. It isn't. So we discuss a couple of aspects here, and I really don't want to scare you, but realistically, you're probably going to get a little scared after the next few slides. But my point is to give you a realistic outlook as to what most of our situation looks like. Guys, there's 3-4 seats in the front here and 2 over here. Grab a seat here. So the one aspect that we look at is the economy. And I trust no one in the room is happy with the current state of our economy, right? The economy plays out in a number of negative ways currently into our lives. So one of the biggest things is unemployment. We've got about 9 million people unemployed at the moment, and that number's going up because it's been shown after the last 6 months. I thought last year was bad with the growth rate for our economy of being plotted at 0.3%, but it's actually negative now. It's gone into negative territory. We actually have a technical recession that we're dealing with at the moment, which means the economy is shrinking. And when the economy shrinks, that means we're losing even more jobs. So at the end of this year, we might be close to 10 million unemployed people willing and able to work sitting at home doing nothing. You can only imagine how that must play on your psyche when you're in a situation like that. The other aspect that it plays out in is in the form of interest rates, inflation. Inflation sitting at about 7-8% at the moment. Did everyone get an 8% raise at the beginning of this year in line with inflation? Right? Did you get an 8% raise in the last 5 years in line with inflation? Most of us didn't. So the net effect of that is that your salary is actually devalued. You're actually going backwards. And that certainly doesn't help in an economy where inflation is sitting at 8%, food inflation is sitting at 11%, and interest rates are going up. And you can see, with regards to personal finance, people are getting squeezed more and more and more every single month. One of the aspects that makes things a lot worse is debt. On the economy side, it can be frustrating because we don't have any control over the economy, right? I don't see any economists sitting in the room or any ministers. Malusi, where are you? He's not here. Maybe he's the only one who's got control over our economy, but we don't, and it's very frustrating because it's something you want to. It's the change that you want in life, but there's nothing you can do about it. But the one thing we do have control over is the amount of debt that we have in our life. And this is something that is afforded to us at a fairly early age. The moment you get a paycheck, you enter South African's fiscus, and companies will flag you as a wonderfully potential client if they know that you're getting a salary every month, right? Because they know they can debit you every month. So they happily offer you products and services that require a debit order at the end of every month. And people will engage in a host of products and services, but mostly debt instruments. On the other side of that, there are investments and savings, but we don't look at them. We don't look at them. South Africans as a culture, we love to engage in debt. And so we find that South Africans only really start engaging in the good stuff, in savings and investments, when they're a lot older, when they're around 50 years of age. Do we start engaging in investments for the first time in our lives, which is far too late, right? So we engage currently in a whole host of things, a plethora of different debt instruments. They come in all shapes and sizes. We've got credit cards, we've got home loans, car loans, personal loans, educational loans, hire purchase contracts. Credit cards are beautiful because they're revolving credit debt instruments, right? So you never get out of a credit card debt because it just refreshes every month. Oh, nice pair of shoes go there. I've got a credit card. I've got 4 credit cards. You know why they've got 6 slots in your wallet? For credit cards, right? What else do you put in there? 1 gym card maybe. The rest is credit cards. And so the bank will just keep offering you credit cards. So this is something that we actually have control over. And this is something that actually becomes a very common theme throughout our business, is our desire to see the people that get involved in this business to actually become debt-free, to get rid of debt, because you don't realize how crippling it is in your life, right? We get statistics that show this macro kind of picture of what South Africans do from a personal finance point of view, and it's all wrong. Unfortunately, in school, we don't get taught personal finance of any sort. I don't know, I think some schools offer accounting, but that's not really the fundamental of economics from a personal point of view. You don't get taught that stuff. You've got to blunder your way in life and realize only later in life that, you know what, this stuff called debt is actually terrible. The problem is that you have a time limit. You have a time limit. And the sooner you realize your current situation needs to be remedied, the better your retirement's going to be. Because that thing called retirement is getting closer and closer and closer to you every single year. And in an economy like ours, companies are happy to push people into early retirement. They'll give you a package. Leave at 58. Leave at 59. Retire at 60. Some of us lucky enough to retire at 65. My father works for a company where they don't care how old he is. Works for a Chinese investment consortium. They're like, in China, there's no retirement. There's no such thing as retirement. You work till you die. Lucky for him, because he's 70. He can't afford not to work. So he's very lucky to be in an organization where they say, oh, you're 70, that's great. How many years you still got? They wanted to sign a 20-year contract with him last year. Even my dad was shocked. He was like, I don't know if I'm going to live that long. But in South Africa, it's completely different, right? You speak to people are retiring at 58, 59, 60 because they're forced into early retirement because of the economy, again. When you're willing and able to work, there's a cell phone ringing. When you're willing and able to work, but your company says, we don't need you anymore. So this was some data that was published on the Fin24 website late last year. Tim was kind enough to send it to me and ruin my weekend. And this kind of illustrates what responsible retirement planning looks like, right? So we've got 3 columns, and the columns are headed up by an income that you can derive if you've got a retirement plan in place, right? Or some investment that you've created. So you get to 60 years of age, and you retire, and you've done well enough that you've been able to save R1 million. That R1 million will now pay you out 5,000 Rand a month once you retire. Sound good, right? Anyone? Can anyone live on 5,000 Rand a month? No, not even close. Anyone saving towards R1 million currently? 1 or 2 people, right? And that's what the statistics show. They show out of every 100 people, there will be 2 that will retire financially independent. 2 out of 100. There's about 140, 150 people in this room. So 3 of us, on average in this room, will retire financially independent, and the rest of us will retire financially dependent. But you say, I've saved R1 million. I've got R1 million in the bank. Yes, but the R1 million can only pay you out 5,000 Rand a month if you want the R1 million to last you until you're 90. If you're young enough, if you're under the age of 25, you can start engaging in responsible retirement planning. Some companies will set aside a pension fund for you, a pension scheme, right? You need to be well aware of what that pension scheme is going to mature at. Because if it's around this number and you can't live on 5,000 Rand a month, you've got a problem. So if you're under the age of 25, you've got time on your side. You can start putting away 800 Rand a month for the next 40 years, and you'll have saved R1 million by the time you get to 60. But we don't like this example, right? Let's look at this example. 26,000 Rand a month. Sound a lot better, right? How do we get there? How do we get to the point where we've got 5 million Rand saved up? Well, it's easy. If you're under the age of 25, you can start putting 4,000 Rand away for the next 40 years. And that contribution, that 4,000 Rand contribution, has to increase every year in line with inflation. And this is what responsible retirement planning looks like. If you go sit with a financial advisor, this is what they will do for you. They'll say, how old are you? How much do you have saved? Assets versus liabilities. How much time do you think you still got to work when you're going to retire? 60, 65? How much money do you need to retire on? What will get you through the month? Oh, it's easy. This is how much you have to save every month. Well, there it is. That's how much you have to save every month. Anyone looking at the last column? Sound better, right? Well, there you go. 40 years, uninterrupted, of saving 8,000 Rand a month. Can you see why only 2% of the people in South Africa do this? Because when you are in an economy, when you're trying to survive in an economy like we have, and you're getting squeezed every year because you're not getting the increase, inflation is what it is. Jobs, being retrenched. You've got more chance of being retrenched than being promoted in this country. When you're faced with this environment, where is the option to save money for 40 years uninterrupted? It isn't there. And that's why we find ourselves in a meeting room, in an auditorium, on a miserable day like this, on a Saturday morning. Because you have a little bit of hope that this guy on stage is going to tell you something that can offer you opportunity to change your situation. Not for right now, for your future, and for your children's future. We see all these adults getting to retirement, financially dependent. Who do you think they're dependent on? The 98%. Who are they going to? To their children. There are studies that show generational debt cycles. They jump from generation to generation. You've got to ask yourself, am I going to be the person in my generation that pulls us out of that debt cycle? That starts becoming more aware of money and debt, savings, investments, for the sake of my family and my family to come after that. Someone has to do it, or you'll just stay exactly where you are for the rest of your life, generation to generation. So this is all the negativity. I hope it sets a realistic picture for what we're talking about with regards to finance, right? If this is all new to you, go research it. There are many tools online. All the banks, all the different financial service companies, got all these tools that show you, got these little calculators for a time. So go look, do your own research. Make yourself aware of what you've got to look forward to by the time you get to retirement. So out of all that negativity, as a business, we saw an opportunity to create a platform that allows the average South African to empower themselves for this change. The DuePoint system was created. We launched it in February last year, and we have 3 aspirations. I mentioned the first aspiration. We want to see the people getting involved in this business to become debt-free. That's our number 1 priority. Number 1 priority. I overheard someone last week, saying that Einstein supposedly quoted, the 8th wonder of the world is the compounding effect. And if you have debt in your life, you're on the wrong side of the compounding effect. Our first aspiration is to get you onto the right side of compounding effect, right? Our second aspiration for our wealth engineers, so the people that join us, we call them wealth engineers. The second aspiration is to see you start contributing to a real investment, something that you can look forward to, something that you can depend on, something that will grow and mature in the long term, not in the short term. Investments aren't short term, in the long term. And then the third aspiration is to see everyone happier on a miserable Saturday morning. Because if you become debt-free and you're only putting your money into investments, I promise you at the end of every month, when everyone else is suffering, you will be smiling. Don't smile too much, because those people will come ask you for money. So our goal is to break you out of this debt cycle. And you know it. I don't have to tell you individually. You know it individually what that debt cycle is all about. At the end of every month, at the end of the year, when we want to buy the kids this and that, we've got to buy them uniforms, stationery, a new school year. You've got to pay deposits to the school. And then your company does you a disservice by paying you early. Remember, they pay you early. And you forget. And you think, when am I getting my salary? I got it already. And then you suffer through January and February, and off we go again. And it's not just anecdotal. More data came out a couple of months ago that showed that 50% of South Africans that have debt in their lives are under debt review. What does debt review mean? Debt review means that person hasn't been able to pay their debt back for 3 months in a row. Then you get placed under debt review. That's half our population. We want to fix all of this. So how does this work? What is the opportunity? The guests here this morning, you have the opportunity to join DuePoint. If you join us, you actually contract with us, and when you contract with us, we call you wealth engineers. And as wealth engineers, we only expect one thing from you, and that is for you to go out and build what we call channels of distribution. And I'll show you what a channel of distribution looks like. But through these channels of distribution, which are really people that you introduce to this business, we will attempt to place product with those people, and when we're successful at that, that is how your business starts to grow, right? And that's all you're going to be engaged in as a wealth engineer, nothing else. The benefit for you is that you get to create additional income. This is obvious. This is why you're here this morning. I want extra money. I want to make money. It's the only way you can pay debt off any faster. It's the only way that you can break out of this debt cycle that we find ourselves in. But the nature of the income that you produce is one that is recurring, right? So what is recurring income? Now, this is the reason I left my business, because we couldn't create recurring income. After 17 years, it dawned on me that I'm going to be doing this job until I drop dead, because I couldn't create recurring income. So recurring income is where an asset pays you not only once off, it pays you in a recurring fashion because there's value in that asset. So for example, if you won the lottery and you went and bought a house cash and you rented the house out, that house, that asset is creating a recurring income because you're getting rental every single month from somebody based on that asset. This business is the same. These channels of distribution that you build is an asset. So the effort that you put into building this channel of distribution this month, July 2017, can pay you in August, in September, in October, November, December. It can pay you in 10 years' time. You can be deriving income from the effort that you put in this month in 10 years' time. That's what recurring income is. In my business, we couldn't do that. And most companies don't create recurring income. They're service-based businesses, right? And we probably all service-based, we're all skilled in some trade. We sell time. And therefore, if you're selling time, you're limited by time. You need to invest in an asset that pays you recurring income. You get to harness the power of duplication. We've built the system that allows you to leverage your efforts. We know that you need to sacrifice time to be in this business, right? So we all got jobs, and you're going to be having to sacrifice spare time for DuePoint to do this. So we understood that. So we built the system so that there's leverage involved. What is leverage? Leverage is the same thing as being a CEO. When you're the CEO, you're not getting paid for your time. You're getting paid for the effort of the entire business. That's why the CEO gets the biggest salary and the biggest bonus. You get to do a similar thing here. These people that you're bringing into this channel of distribution are actually teams that you're going to build. And when you collaborate with these teams, they're going to be investing a lot more time into your asset than you can on your own. This is power of duplication. This is a flexi-time business. Now, this is a double-edged sword because you might be thinking, flexi-time, I can do it when I feel like it. I can do it when I have spare time. Everyone thinking that? Well, that is a benefit. But on the other side of it, if you want to be successful in anything, especially this business, you need to make this a routine. This business is going to have to fit into your life on a regular basis. Don't let it be one of those New Year's resolutions. We are not trying to lose weight here. We are trying to change our lives. We are trying to take the stress of personal finance out of our lives. It's a fairly serious thing, yes? The drought that South Africa just experienced. One of the worst droughts in 100 years. Do you know that the suicide rate in farmers went up 50% after that drought? You want to talk about stress, about personal finance? Go speak to those farmers. We understand the stress. This is what we're trying to solve. That's why I say don't treat this like a hobby. It's not a New Year's resolution. We're talking about probably one of the most serious matters that exists in your life. You have to treat it as such. Anyone can join this business. So this business, although it might be flexi time, if you want to make it work, if you're serious about making it work, you have to schedule it into your diary on a weekly basis. At the end of this presentation, there's going to be a big orange slide with a man climbing onto a mountain, and the slide's going to say decision time. The decision is really for those people interested in this, how is this going to fit into my schedule? That's what the decision is. Okay. We'll get there. You've got 25 minutes to think about how much time you can commit to this business by the end of the presentation. There's no startup capital. There's no registration fees. There's no 12, 24, 36-month contract that we sign you into. There's no boxes of products that you need to buy to get started. It's a very low-risk business opportunity. There's no qualifications or experience required. This is financial services. We are regulated by the FSB. And as much as that might be a good thing for you, because you know we're being regulated by the FSB, for us, it's a huge pain in the bum, because there is so much regulation we have to abide by. But we contract you out of all of that obligation, so you guys can benefit from financial services, from recurring income, from building an asset without having to worry about all of this. I've had to write exams. They only told me once I joined the company. Even though you're a designer, creative director, we want you to go write phase exams. Any of you have ever had the pleasure of writing a phase exam, you'll know how much fun that is. But I'm finally finished them. Right? So you don't have to worry about that. You get to build an asset. Now, this is a very important point, because this actually is the antithesis of employment. Because in employment, we will contribute a huge portion of our lives to somebody else's asset. We will spend 40, 45 years working for somebody else. No profit share, no dividend check, no shareholding, no say in the business. In this business, the time that you contribute into building these channels of distribution, you've got ownership over this. You own it. You can sell it. You can move it into a family trust. You can cede it to your beneficiaries if something happens to you. If you get very old and you're too tired to do this business anymore, you can give it to your kids, because this asset has value that you've created. And if you build a sustainable enough business, this asset can pay you when you're on holiday, because you've created recurring income. You can be in the position in 5 years' time where you can take 6 months leave, and we'll still pay you every month while you're sitting on the beach. On Monday morning, I keep asking people this. Someone has to do it. On Monday morning, go to your boss and say you want 6 months leave. Someone just try. I reckon your boss will probably print out a resignation letter and say, sure, just sign here. Right? One less person to pay. Can you see how it's completely opposite to employment? There's a lot of aspects about this business that are completely different to employment. And sometimes it's hard to get our heads wrapped around the benefits of this business. We think it's hype. It's not hype. This is what owning your own business looks like and feels like. There's no selling involved. No one looks impressed. Let me say it again. There's no selling involved. That was your first question to the person that invited you here. What are we selling? Right? We contract you out of the selling. So you don't have to sell anything in this business. That's one of the beauties of this business. It's probably one of the fears that a lot of us have. I'm not good at selling. I'm not extroverted. How can I do this business? There's no selling involved. The nature of our business, because they're financial, means the products are intangible. Right? Like I said, there's no boxes of products waiting for you. Did anyone bring their uncle's bucky because they thought they were going home with lots of product? Right? It doesn't take up space. It doesn't expire. You're not pressured to sell product. So we make this business as convenient and as easy as possible to get involved in for our guests. And this is all predicated on you being successful building channels of distribution. And this is what it looks like. It starts with you. If you become a wealth engineer this morning, your task is going to be to go out and speak to people about the business opportunity, not about our products, about the business opportunity. It is the most valuable commodity in South Africa today. Do you know what it is? Income opportunity. When you speak to people about income opportunity, 90% of them say, yes, please, I need money desperately. The kicker is you need to find the ones that are willing to work for it. So it begins with you. You go out and you speak to people. If you're successful, and say, for example, you've got 5 people that agree to come to a presentation like this and they become DuePoint wealth engineers, That's the beginning of your channel of distribution. They're going to do exactly the same thing you did. They're going to go out and also speak to people. And they will attempt to bring people into your business. And so your channel, this is your channel of distribution, will start to grow organically. And after a certain amount of time, this is what your channel could look like. Every single dot is representation of someone with a product that you're getting paid a recurring income based off of. Next month, there will be a few more dots. Can you see how the leverage works here? How much effort did it take to introduce 5 people to this business? And look what your channel looks like today. This is power of duplication. But you'll be forgiven if you arrive this morning thinking, you know what, I've been invited to one of those schemes. I never knew there were so many schemes until I joined this business and speaking to people. They put money into these schemes. Trusted some Russian guy on YouTube that said he'll give you 20% return week on week. But it shows you how desperate we are as a society to create income for ourselves, right? When you know you don't have enough money at the end of the month, you become desperate. So this is the first and only time I'm going to forgive you for thinking that we might have been one of those schemes. We're not one of those schemes. We're a 70-year-old business that's listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange. We don't smell anything like one of those schemes. Very reputable individuals involved in this business. And you have the opportunity to join this business. But like I said previously, this has to become a routine, a schedule in your life. DuePoint has to become a part of your week if you want to be successful at it. Because I'll never promise anybody success quickly or easily in this business. On the previous slide, I said we make the business as easy as possible to get involved with, not to be successful at. Anyone can join DuePoint. To be successful at is a completely different thing. There is frustration in this business. This is a people business. You know how frustrating people are. I can't even get on with my personal family, my own family, and now I must get on with everybody. It is a frustrating business. But if you're consistent and you're persistent in your efforts around this business, then I can promise you there will be success for you. So, how do the returns work? The returns is what we pay our wealth engineers at the end of every month, right? Based on the product that you have in your channel of distribution. So this is the mechanics of the returns. We pay a base return of R27.50 for every product in your channel. Every month. Remember, it's recurring income. So remember the first 5 individuals that you introduced to the business successfully? Those people lie on your first point. They are 1 point away from you. You know them personally. And on your first point, we pay you double the R27.50. So we actually pay you R55 for every product every month. The same on the second point. These are friends of friends. To the third point, to the fourth point, all the way down to the 8th point. You'll see the multiplier starts to drop to 4% the further the people get away from you, right? But we don't limit you at the 8th point. From the 8th point, in theory, into infinity, we will keep paying you that R1.10 for every product that arrives in your channel. We don't limit you on how big your channel can get at DuePoint, and we don't limit you on how much money you can earn at DuePoint. The accountability lies solely with you. So this is the mechanics of the returns. I think it's fairly straightforward. The next natural question you get is, well, how much money can I earn after a certain amount of time? I don't know about this business. What do people earn here after 3 months or 6 months or a year, or you always talk long term after 5 years? So this example, we call this the path to success. It's the first time the accountants got creative and they built this growth formula called 3 + 2. It assumes that a new wealth engineer can add 3 people into their business in the first month. Not 5, 3. And then every consecutive month they can bring in another 2 people. So you're going to bring 3 people in your first month, and then every 2 weeks you're going to bring 1 person, right? So it's 2 every month into perpetuity. If you can follow this growth formula, these are the numbers you can expect. So after 6 months, you could be earning R2,500 a month. Again, no reaction. Stone-faced. This is not a poker game, guys. R2,500, good. 6 months of work, not so good. If I had the R2,500 cash here, you'd be like, I'll take that. But now I'm saying you've got to work for 6 months before you get to a number like that. Is it worth it? Does it sound like it's worth it? No one's walked out, so I assume you're still waiting for something else. Let me give you some context around money, because we think about money incorrectly. We all have debt in our lives. Here's someone with a lot of debt in their lives. They've got R1 million bond, right? They've agreed to pay the bank back over a term of 20 years, probably 11,500 rand a month, based on the current interest rate, right? So if they go and get the bond when they're around their 30s, they're going to become a homeowner when they're in their 50s. 20 years of paying 11,500 rand every month. They join DuePoint after some success. 6 months later, they're earning 2,500 rand. What do they do with the 2,500 rand? They listen to Rob and start paying their debt off quicker, right? Not handbags or shoes. You pay your debt off faster. If you put that 2,500 rand as an additional payment into your bond, into this R1 million bond, the term will reduce from 20 years to 11 and a half years. You become a homeowner when you're in your 40s, not your 50s. You save yourself R1 million in repayments on a R1 million house. Think about that. Little 2,500 rand that we all turned our noses up at, little 2,500 rand has just saved you R1 million in repayments. You want an extra R1 million to go into your retirement savings? 6 months away. Sounds too simple, right? Well, go check it. I didn't believe the accountants when they came up with that. I said, how can you save R1 million? The house is R1 million. It's because the bank's making 2.5 times the value of that asset over a 20-year period on you. We need to start thinking about debt differently. Start taking care of it sooner. After 12 months, you're on about 9,000 rand a month. That's in excess of 100,000 rand of annual income that you've created for yourself over and above your salary. Anyone get a 100,000 rand bonus this year? Not even one. There's usually one sharp salesman, and it's like, I always tell him, put your hand down. The other people are going to come ask you for money. 12 months away. 24 months. You're nearly 30,000 rand a month. Now we're talking, right? Now I hope you're getting a little more excited. Because 30,000 rand can make big changes at home. Big changes. After 36 months, you're close to 50,000 rand a month. You want to look at a bond example? Here's a bond example at the 30-month mark. 5 million rand bond. You're a high flyer now. If you take the money that you're earning at DuePoint, 37,000 rand, place it as an additional payment into that 5 million rand bond, you'll pay that 5 million rand house off in less than 7 years. So I'm 40 at the moment. So by the time I'm 47, I could have paid off a 5 million rand house. Cash. Done. I'm the homeowner. Buy another house. Right? You want to become a property investment person? Investor? This is maybe a way to do it. Buy the second house. I'll pay the second house off at the age of 54. Buy a third house. Pay that off by the time I'm 61. I now have 3 houses to the value of 5 million rand. Your first house is never your investment. People think, oh, I just need to buy a house and pay it off. That's a great investment. It's not. You're living in the investment. You're going to rent out all the rooms. Or sell it and move into a caravan. Then it's an investment. You need to buy the second house and the third house. Because when I'm 61 and I'm living in a 5 million rand house that's paid off and I'm renting out the other 2 houses at, 30, 40,000 rand each? 60, 70, 80,000 rand in passive income just from the property. Instead of waiting 20 years to pay my bond off and living the high life with the rest of the money. Get rid of your debt as quickly as possible and turn it into investment. After 48 months, you're close to 70,000 rand a month. And after a short 5 years, you've created for yourself about 1 million rand in recurring income. Anyone believe that? We can't, right? Maybe the example's too big. It's difficult to connect with being able to create 1 million rand in recurring income over and above your salary. Start at the 2,500. Start at the 2,500 rand a month. Let that be your goal. the behavior is the same all the way up to 100,000 Rand a month. Nothing changes. You're just building a channel of distribution. We're not building rockets to go to Mars. We're just building a channel of distribution, and the activity and the behavior remains the same. The key is, can you be consistent and persistent enough to build that asset month on month? Now, this is just a growth formula. This is purely academic. It's theory. This is what the accountants put together, right? Based on this 3+2 growth formula. You can join, like I said, very easy, and do nothing. Don't work extra. Don't sacrifice any time. Don't make DuePoint routine in your life. You'll become part of the 0+0 club that we have. Yeah, there's a big 0+0 club here. The people that get excited about the presentation, they don't do anything. They don't do anything. But you can also do more than 3+2, because it's just an example. And we've got lots of wealth engineers that are doing more than 3+2. So here's Denzel. He joined at the end of August. And within 6 months, he was at 2,500 Rand. So he had followed 3+2 very closely. But if you go watch his testimony, so we actually invited him up on the stage earlier this month, last month. And if you go to YouTube, you can go watch his testimony. He tells his story, his experience of having become a DuePoint wealth engineer. And he said, well, he was quite comfortable in the beginning. But at the beginning of this year, he realized, the penny dropped for him. He realized the value of what he actually had. And before, last year, we saw Denzel maybe once a week. Now we see Denzel nearly every single day. What was the effect? August to April, 2,500 Rand. April to May, he gave himself 100% increase in his income. He doubled his income in 30 days. This is the second question you're going to ask your boss on Monday. Please, can I have 100% raise? Right, we're so used to employment. We're so used to the environment that we're in. We beg for an 8% raise once a year. Get told, sorry, company's struggling. The economy is struggling, can't afford an 8% raise. Denzel said, I'm not waiting for anybody else. I'm not waiting for the economy to change, or suddenly my business, my company, my employer to suddenly change. He's doing it for himself. And this is what the opportunity is all about. It requires accountability, unfortunately. It requires some form of leadership on your part. To stop listening to the detractors and go, I'm doing this for myself, for my family. I'm not listening to anybody else. And again, he doubled his income a month after that. Nkabela in East London, Eastern Cape, she joined a year ago. Go listen to her testimony. She didn't do anything for a whole year. She said she was too caught up in these schemes. Those were her words. These other schemes. Fortunately for her, she was very good friends with one of the wealth engineers here in Joburg that was performing really well. And she saw what was happening on this lady's Facebook page, of all places. And after a year, she phoned this lady and said, listen, what is going on at DuePoint? And she got involved only at the beginning of this year. And very quickly, she changed the situation. Do you know how much time she's spending in those other schemes now? 0 time. 0 time. I'm warning these other people that like to jump from scheme to scheme to scheme. You join DuePoint, you say goodbye to those other schemes. It's about focus. In anything in life, you focus. Choose. Don't have to choose DuePoint, choose. So, Nangamso, up here in Joburg, she runs a nursery school, of all things. Little lady, very softly spoken, probably the opposite of what we expect, the type of character you require for this type of business, right? We think you've got to be a seller, extroverted, outspoken. Not this lady. Short, about 5 foot about this. When we do the interview, I've got to crouch a bit down to get both of us in the camera. But an absolute firecracker, tenacious, and persistent and consistent. She'll bring in 40 people on her own in a single month. She's special. She's special. She's got a degree in human psychology and human behavior. No, she doesn't. She's a normal person. These are normal people. There's nothing special about them. They're just contributing spare time into this business. We've made the business simple. There's nothing complicated about this business. The thing that everyone seems to get stuck on is actually finding the motivation in themselves to get off the couch and do the work. We've got hundreds of wealth engineers that we pay at the end of every month who have created an additional income stream for themselves, who are in a better position to become debt-free than they were before. Sitting in exactly the same seats you were. You have to take the step of faith. Who's this DuePoint company? He says they're nearly 70 years old. You have to take a step of faith. You have to. And you've got to decide whether it's worth it. That's only your decision that you can make. So that's the returns. That's what we pay our wealth engineers at the end of every single month. Over and above that, we've got this thing called the XP Rewards Program. Now this is a rewards program for the success that you have here at DuePoint, right? So if you become a wealth engineer, you will start engaging in normal wealth engineer behavior, like coming to presentations or watching the live stream online, bringing guests here, a plethora of different things that we have for you to earn what we call XP. So when you do all these exercises, these activities, you get XP. We give you these XP points. They stand for experience points. And when you start building up more and more XP and your business starts to grow, we reward you, right? So here's the XP rewards table. If you join this morning, you start out as a rank 0 wealth engineer. You're still part of the 0+0 club. But very quickly, you can get to rank 1. Because at rank 1, all you need is 1,000 XP and you need 4 products in your qualified channel. And if you meet those 2 criteria, you become rank 1 and we'll be paying you a return at the end of the month based on the product you have. But through the XP Rewards program, we'll give you an extra 55 Rand to say, great, go have a cappuccino, celebrate. Because the behavior remains the same. From rank 1 all the way down to rank 20. The rewards get bigger and better though. 100 Rand, 400 Rand, 1,500 Rand, 20,000 Rand, 50,000 Rand over and above your return that you're getting paid every month. We give away tools that make you more effective at building your channel of distribution. Here's Patrick and Pumi at rank 5. Rank 5s get this USB memory stick. But it's a beautiful little device because it's very clever. We've got all our video collateral on there, but this little device plugs into everything. Everything. Phones, tablets, laptops, computers, TVs. Plugs into Apple devices, Android devices, bananas. It's only the people with bananas that are laughing. It plugs into everything. So Patrick and Pumi, regardless of what device they have around them, they can show people what DuePoint's all about. At rank 7, here's Donnie. Donnie's with us this morning. At rank 7, our rank 7s get these premium luxury business cards manufactured for them. 1,000 business cards. We try print 2 sets at a time because it's cheaper for us. If we get 2 sets printed at a time, it costs us 12,500 Rand. If we get 1 set printed on its own, in excess of 20,000 Rand for these business cards. Why would we spend so much money on business cards? Go look at them. They're in the merchandise cabinet. If you speak to Donnie very nicely, he might let you feel one of his business cards because they feel like black suede. And there's no printing. There's no ink on these business cards. They get gilded and foiled in gold. They're 4 times thicker than any other business card. Because when you approach somebody and you mention DuePoint to them, being this wonderful business opportunity, they've never heard of DuePoint. There's no brand equity in the name because we don't do any marketing or advertising out there. But when you put a 20,000 Rand business card in their hand, one that's 50 times more expensive than the one they embarrassingly have in their wallet, your brand value just jumps a couple of notches. Now suddenly they're going to give you a little more time to explain what this business is all about. And they'll probably say, how on earth do you get business cards like that? And you'll explain it to them. These are tools to make you more effective at building your channel of distribution. At rank 9, this is one that everyone gets excited about because this is a recurring reward. This reward you get every single year. The others are all once-offs. Cash, tools, those are once-offs. You get to the rank, that's what you get it once and once only. But when you get to rank 9, you get to enjoy this every single year. It is an international conference paid by DuePoint, 7 days away to a 5-star luxury resort business class flights for you and your family every single year. We had one gentleman get to rank 9 in 5 months. Guys, this is only rank 9. It's only rank 9. So have a look where we're going at the end of this year. It's available for everybody in this room. No time limit. Again, accountability lies with you.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sun where no one can see. You stand on at the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
So where are you going at the end of the year? Umschlanger Rocks, Valdam? That's the usual question. You check your bank balance at the end of the year. You decide, okay, right, we can afford to go here this year. Like I said, this is available for everybody. There's no time limit on this. You can take as long as you want to get to rank 9. Already got 3 families this year that have qualified for rank 9. The footage that you saw in the video is of the actual resort. You can go Google it. The Western Turtle Bay, Mauritius. It's not just 5-star, it is tier 1 5-star. You coming? I hope so. It's lonely with only 3 families on the beach. Guys, I want to see everybody there. Everybody. It's just rank 9. Rank 11. Brand new car. Bought cash, delivered to you in our parking lot. You can drive it away from our parking lot. We're very serious about getting our wealth engineers to become debt-free. And there's Patrick and Pumi driving their new car off. Happened in the parking lot about 5 weeks ago. This is rank 11. The table went down to rank 20. We've already planned for rank 28. This is early days, guys. Don't make the mistake of thinking short term. Think long term. Long term. What happens at rank 28? Driving a bus? I hope not. Hopefully a Bentley. Guys, you have to attach a dream to this. Why? Because the dream is what gets you out of bed. Not growing your channel of distribution. The channel of distribution is the means to the end. What is the end? Debt-free? Being able to send your kid to any university in the world? What does it mean to you? Being able to support your family, your parents? That's what gets you out of bed. We've got another benefit for our wealth engineers. There's something called the Wealth Quest. It's something that we run every month. It's basically a challenge that we issue to our wealth engineers. Every month there's a new one, and every month there's a different reward. So this month is called the Quest for Quality. Quality is very important. And what we challenged our wealth engineers to find 2 new wealth engineers, put them on their first point, help them get qualified, which means you've got to get 3 people under those 2 new people each. And if you've got 100% payments, in other words, 100% BPQ, that means 100% payments in your first and second point. If you can do that, you'll have 5,000 Rand cash on top of your returns and your rewards by the end of next month, plus 2,000 XP. That's this month's challenge. More benefit for the wealth engineers to engage in. So some of the people start getting a little bit nervous. They think we're paying out too much money. This slide basically illustrates our business model, so you have some understanding as to how we work. Traditional insurance companies engage in traditional forms of marketing. We get exposed to that marketing constantly, right? SMSs, billboards, TV ads, print ads, tons of stuff. They spend a fortune on client acquisition. This is evident in some of the radio ads that some of the insurance companies have. They say, you phone us, and if we can't better your quote, we'll pay you 400 Rand cash. You heard that ad? If you claim free, we'll pay you 700 Rand cash. It shows you what insurance companies are willing to pay for client acquisition. My agency, we did a lot of work for insurance companies. They spend a fortune on client acquisition, right? And that's all through marketing. And in DuePoint, we don't do any marketing. You won't see DuePoint's logo outside of this building. We rely on you, on our wealth engineers, to tell people about DuePoint. And so we don't spend the billions on marketing that typical insurance companies do. We take that portion of our premium and we give it to our wealth engineers in the form of returns and rewards and wealth quests. Make sense? Okay, what are the products? You're probably thinking, this guy's been talking for so long, he hasn't even mentioned a thing about products. Because we're not selling product. You are not selling product. I'm going to explain the products to you now. As wealth engineers, you're free to take out 1 or 3 products, because all 3 of our products have got 3 very different benefits. So we've got some wealth engineers taking out all 3. It is a personal decision. It's up to you. The first product is called Access Wealth. It is an investment product. For 299 Rand a month, we put 100 Rand into a tax-free investment fund in your name every month. Okay? The investment sits with Sanlam, the biggest investment house in the country. On top of that, we give you a little bit of insurance. We give you 110,000 Rand worth of personal accident cover. So if you have this investment and you get killed in a car accident, we'll pay out your beneficiaries 110,000 Rand, plus whatever's in the investment. This is not a notice or a fixed deposit, right? This is an investment fund that is tax-free. You can draw your investment out at any stage. It takes 72 hours to draw the money out. Right? Completely flexible. The second product is called Wealth Guard. This is purely an insurance product. It's strictly insurance. For 274 Rand a month, you get 1.1 million Rands worth of personal accident cover. The beauty of our personal accident cover is that we don't profile you from a health risk point of view. It's not comprehensive life cover. And so we can offer the product to anyone of any age over the age of 18, because you can be 80 and diabetic, where you can't get life insurance, but you can get personal accident cover. The premium remains the same. The amount of cover remains the same. Product number 3 is called Wealth Points, the Wealth Points Buyers Club program. This product aims to save you money on the money that you're spending every month anyway. How much are we spending on groceries every month? Yes, sure. For 274 Rand a month, you get to engage with these list of partners that we have. We've gone to those partners and negotiated discounts with them on behalf of our Wealth Points members. and you get to enjoy those discounts. So, like we said, groceries, we're spending a fortune on. We've got ShopRite Checkers as a partner. You get 2.5% off your entire trolley at ShopRite Checkers all the time. The entertainers got over R1 million in buy one, get one free vouchers to hotels and restaurants around the country. We've got Eagle Ford, give you the best price. We've got a whole bunch of other retailers, some online. Hershey's is another popular one. And we've just added a new Wealth Points partner called Always On, which is super fast Wi-Fi data in 2,500 hotspots around the country. We've negotiated data at nearly a third of the price for our Wealth Points members. You can get a gig for 36 Rand a month. Okay, we are always adding new partners to this program for your benefit. We want to have a long list of partners by the end of the year. If you want immediate benefit out of any of the products, Wealth Points is probably the best one to have because you can get immediate benefit out of it if you're thinking short term. Okay, so those are the products. If you have any questions, come speak to me. I remind you of the support that you get here. Our mandate is to support the people that join this business. We want to see you successful and effective. And so everything that we've done is in that vein. The facilities that we've set up a live streaming facility so that you are able to go spread your channel of distribution into other towns around the country because they can watch everything live. Everything that we do is live in the entire country, right? More leverage for you. The facilities are for our wealth engineers. You can do your own presentations here. You can use our boardrooms for meetings. We've got breakout rooms. We've got free Wi-Fi for you. Free tea and coffee. Be nice to Gertrude. For our wealth engineers, don't join this business and think you know better than everybody else and you can do it on your own. This is a people business. Get engaged with us. Lean into the support. You'll be successful faster. Do you remember this slide? I warned you about it. What is the decision? You arrived to this presentation, so I know you need money. There will be people that aren't interested in it. They've got a block. I've heard all the blocks, all the excuses. I don't have time. That's my favorite one. I don't have time to be rich, I'm sorry. It's one of those things. These things don't work. I've just shown you. I can show you hundreds of wealth engineers that make this work. There will be detractors in this business. My own father told me I'm part of a pyramid scheme. Your family will say the same thing. Your friends will say things similar to that. Your spouse might even say something similar to that. You need to have the conviction to do what you want to do. Because in life, if you listen to everybody else, you'll get nowhere. People don't like to see other people more successful than them. If you haven't realized that by now, it might be a revelation. Stop listening to other people. This is a very low-risk business opportunity. We've created it so that it's low risk. So that people can access it. Everyone, the average South African can access this and change the environment they're in. If you have any other objections, if you have any other questions, come speak to me. I'll answer all of them for you. Get started. Can anyone get to rank 1 by Monday? You get to rank 1 by Monday, you come tell me, I'm going to shake your hand. I'll buy you a cup of coffee too. Guys, get involved. Get involved. You need to stop talking and stop thinking and start doing. It's never going to be perfect. If you're trying to find the perfect solution to passive income, it doesn't exist. It's messy. It's frustrating. It's irritating. Our top wealth engineers come cry in my office once a month, complaining about the business. But they carry on. That's the difference. They carry on. They don't quit. And now they've got a brand new car sitting in the garage that we paid for. We make joining very easy. Like I said, we've got free Wi-Fi. If you've got your own tablet or smartphone on you, you can jump onto the website. Go to www.dupoint.net. We've got iPads available. You'll become a wealth engineer in 7 minutes. Go through the application form, done. You'll get a wealth engineer sent to you. That's your key to success now. We've got merchandise. This is not a profit center for us. These are tools for you guys to be as effective as possible. Please consider getting business cards. Please. They're on display in the merchandise cabinet. The pricing is all on the counter. You need business cards if you can engage in a business professionally. You need to speak professionally, behave professionally, look professional. have business cards when you're proposing a business opportunity to other people. So please consider getting business cards. The USB stick's very convenient for some of us because all our videos are on there and you don't have to use data. Buy the USB stick, you can give it to friends or plug it into your TV at home. Makes things a lot easier for you. And those little black pins you see on the top left corner represent people that are earning at DuePoint. When you become qualified in this business, get a black pin. It's about 40 Rand. Get it. Wear it with pride. Don't go ask people for advice that don't have the black pin on their lapel because they don't know what they're talking about. They're still part of the 0+0 club. Okay, go look at the merchandise. It's all on the counter. We've got a YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Everything that we've ever produced is in video format and it's on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to the channel. It'll tell you every time a new video is posted up. It'll tell you every time a live stream is about to happen. When you become a wealth engineer, download the mobile app. It allows you to run your business from your mobile phone. You don't have to look at a computer again or open up a browser. You can run it from the app. It reflects what's happening in your channel in real time. I hope you get addicted to it. That's my aim. Guys, thank you for your time. For those of you gunning for rank 1 by Monday, good luck. It's easy, by the way. You just got to do it. If you have any questions, come speak to me. Have a lovely weekend, and I thank you for your time again.